this Scion thing. Scion, however you say it. Surprised it's not virtually the same thing. Doesn't say anything. Has a couple of markings on the boards, but not much. Got some of these real ancient old sort of valve radio capacitors in it. Someone must have had a few of them lying around. Probably new old stock or something. But that's right, I think something was a bit cooked in one of these channels. Yeah, and that's right, they used like a cola can, a bit of cola can as a heatsink. Oh yeah, that transistor's falling to bits, I think. Yeah, she's blown to bits. That driver there looks like a pair of them held together on a heatsink, and the resistor's been burnt up at some stage. Whether it still is burnt up, there's a chance though we might have something dead in here, but these are 2SJ48s and K138s, which I think was the same as that other one. 49s and 134s in the other, so these are 48s. What did I say? 133s. But there's more of them. So these might be slightly lower rated. But yeah, that's probably why we've got a higher voltage in this, because this has got even more. This is probably more, a good 150 watts or more per channel. So I guess the best thing is to measure a few things here and see if we've got any blown outputs or anything. I had a feeling this might have had a blown fuse or something in it as well. Although I think I checked the mains fuse earlier and it was okay. It's got a heap of other fuses here. Oh, one's for each rail. Where did they go? Comes out there to the filter cap, yeah. So each filter cap, each rail negative and positive to each amp module has its own fuse. Not a bad way of doing it. So main fuse is good. One's on that channel are good. One's on that channel are good. There's nothing obvious blown in it. Besides maybe that driver transistor. I guess the next thing is to go over the outputs. If I can work out where they are. Okay, that's the screws. 0.1 seems a little low, but maybe there's something in circuit there. Maybe not. That one's certainly not measuring too good. But you'd think if these were all blown, it would have popped the fuse for that channel. Certainly something doesn't seem happy in there. That's right, there's 3 per side there. Let's see what the other channel measures like. Still quite low, but that one's measuring short. Is that the right pin? Yeah, it should be. That measures nothing. Now how good a connection to the collector? That one's there low but charging. So these are probably in the opposite sides of the board. I would have thought there'd be 2 identical boards though, to be fair. Which one's blown up? The other channel. Yeah, one of these is measuring short basically. I'd say something's dead there. So that's 2 there. Are these channels set up the same? 33s, yeah, they are. But yeah, that driver transistor there is just falling to pieces when I move it. One of the leads has come out of it, the case is split open. And possibly this channel isn't much better. I was almost thinking this one kind of wants probably any good Mosfets taken out of it and the rest chucking away almost, but it'd be interesting to see if I can get one channel going at least. So what else could be shorted? There's no circuit for this unfortunately because it's not a kit amp. Now was it shorted? Yeah, it was collector to emitter I think. If it is an actual short. But I think the other channel was measuring okay, so I guess the other option is to undo the screws. It's probably the quickest way to test these. What are they? Of course they're some sort of hexagonal headed thing. Not that one, of course. Where's the one you don't have handy? Or is it that one? Oh, it is that one. So if I undo these nuts and screws, we should be able to disconnect the collector easy enough. Do I even need to take both out? I should have checked if they were both connected. Usually they are, but not always. So the back ones are all I need to take off. Oh, where are you? Very dirty, dusty old thing it is. Someone must have abandoned it quite a few years ago, I think. And it hasn't helped sitting around here. Which one is it, that one? Okay. Of course, the next problem is now I can't connect to the collector without getting to the other side of the board. Okay, I'll just butt into this video quickly because I say collector in this, and of course I'm thinking in terms of standard bipolar transistors, but these are Mosfets, which of course I haven't worked on them for a while, so I completely forgot. But they have a gate, drain and source rather than base emitter and collector. And it looks like these Hitachi ones, the case is the source, both the 2SJ, which is the P channel, and the 2SK, which is the N channel. And it looks like the 2SJ 48, 49 and 50 are all similar ones. The only difference is the voltages they operate, as shown on this data sheet. And it's the same with the 2SKs, the complementaries are the K133, 134, 135. And yeah, they've got the same thing, just the voltages differ on them. Some are higher voltage than the others, and they're the complementary ones for these other ones. So all of them seem to be sort of higher voltage rating than what either of these amps are using. So the one was, although to be fair, the other ones, it is 160, no wait, it was 80, yeah, 162 odd volts rail in it, or positive to negative is, but of course I think each MOSFET's only seeing half of that. So being rated around 140 to 160 volts is plenty. It's not like they're right across the whole negative and positive rail. So I think they are fine, but strangely the amp with the higher voltage transformer in it, this Scion or Scion or however you say it, is actually got the lower rated. It's got the J48s and I think the K133s, whereas the ETI ones actually got the 49s and 134s, might have even been 135s, which are the higher rated ones. I don't think I've ever seen a 2SJ50 in anything, so it doesn't look like there was a lot of call for the very high, the highest of the three in voltage, but they may be out there in something. The 48, 49 seem to be the common ones you see in any of these kit amplifiers. So anyway, I thought I'd just interject and correct myself there. It's just out of habit. Most TO3 bipolar transistors have the collector as the case, and that's basically the large part of the sort of chip that the transistor inside is made on is also connected to the heatsink and stuff. But we'll go back to the video now and just ignore whenever I say collector, which I think I said a couple more times. I mean, was it source in these? So the source is kind of like the collector, the gate is like the base, and the drain is like the emitter, roughly speaking, even though they're a bit different the way they operate and their characteristics and stuff. So let's have a look. It's the second device. Just touch on the collector. I guess I should make sure it's not shorted to the... Ooh. It's measuring to the heatsink, which isn't ideal. I thought it'd be well isolated from that. So it doesn't seem to be a short there anymore. If we go to that collector thing, it may have a one across it that's shorted. Yeah, so that's something shorted there somewhere. We've got all three of them. I think I'll just undo the three of them maybe. on that back screw. In case one of these devices is shorted, and at least if we've disconnected them all and it's not them, then we know it's something in the driver stage. Or maybe power supply somewhere is kaput. Yeah, that one. Where are you? I can't go straight for them and something always gets in your way before you touch it. And you wonder what's going on. Okay. So that rail, or whatever it is there, which I assume it's a rail, still shorted. But to the cases, well, that's a relief. At least the Mosfets seem to be okay. So is that a rail? Where does it go? There's one big piece of copper pad that comes along there, and does it go to, oh, there's some sort of transistor or something there, maybe that's probably what it's going to be. Is that connected to there? Yep, to there. Oh, it goes to the other side as well. That's no good. It means we've got the collectors of all the others connected to it. Oh, well, that makes it fun. I thought that channel measured okay, but it might have been the other side. So it looks like we've got to unscrew all the other screws. Get rid of the other complementary set of Mosfets. But yeah, it's a shame they're not the same ones as used in the ETI. I assume they're lower power, but then again, I don't know how Hitachi, usually the lower numbered ones are lower down in the power ratings than the higher numbered ones of transistors from Japan, but you never know, it might be the other way around with a bit of luck. And I don't know how much difference it would be anyway, maybe not a lot. But yeah, it would have been ideal if they were good for kit amplifiers and stuff. It's one of the reasons I bought this, is I had a look inside and I saw it's full of Mosfets, so there, if any of them are any good, they're worth a few dollars each. If nothing else, or good for making a kit or something. So okay, so we got them off. So maybe that means it is. No, that measures fine, but it doesn't mean the next one isn't shot. Seems to be okay. It seems to be okay, so they all measure fine now, that'll be right. Okay, I just checked that channel, put the nuts and washers back in there, or nuts and screws back in there, which are only barely long enough to actually fit, so someone didn't do a very good job of building this thing. But I pulled the fuses out of the channel that's got that burnt transistor in it. I think I've just soldered the power cord onto the fuse holder and the XLR socket thing on the back there. Canon socket, whatever they are, I can't even remember what they call them now. Just so I can power this thing up and check the channel that should be good. Doesn't seem to be any shorts in any of the FETs there. Well, it seems to fire up. We've got a red light on the front. And I guess we'll check across these caps and see what we got. 81 volts, nice. That's a good high rail, as you'd expect out of that transformer. Minus 81. I guess I want to check that. I think it was this channel that's still connected. I'll check both sides anyway. Definitely no DC on the speakers. If that's the ground. It feels loose, that fuse holder, so I'd say that's the one I've disconnected. Yeah, so that channel's out of circuit. This channel's in circuit. And was that the, no, that's the join. Where is it? Fuse holder, oh, that's one of the rails there. minus 81, plus 81. I guess there must be something. Well, the in-between is the actual speaker output, I guess. Hang on, that's the speaker output there. Yeah, that would be... I don't think it's directly connected to that, is it? Oh, it's probably an inductor or something, is there? Yeah, great big inductor there, which then goes across here to this big pad, which is connected to a lot of those screws. In fact, I think it's connected to the screws on each side. That's the middle. So that board should be fine in theory. Now the other problem with this is I need a variable input, because if I just hook into this, we're going to go full volume. But I think what I did before was use this has got a 6.5 input. I used this CD player with a headphone output on it. It's the perfect way to do that. Okay, so I just hooked an input into this from the CD player, and with a dummy load on the output, and it seems to be putting out a signal. Was sort of not as loud as quickly as I would have expected, but maybe this thing's not as sensitive as I was expecting it to be. Not sure what input this thing's made for. I'd assume it's just a general band type amplifier to take a signal out of a mixer or something. Bit of a scratchy sound there. Let's turn that right down and get ready to turn this off. Seems to be working right, and you can turn it off and the capacitors keep it going for quite a while, so I'll switch it off now. Yeah, not a very professionally made unit, I don't think. It gave it a little burst even though the switch is off. No, it looks like it does run for a good 30 seconds or so with no power applied. Let's get those caps charged up. Obviously at a higher volume it would do that, but oh, still, yeah, it does a little burst afterwards. Oh, lovely. Anyway, so we know that channel's good. So I guess the next thing is, yeah, to reinsert some fuses and check this other, well, probably before I put fuses in, I need to at least look at that transistor is cooked and broken and completely stuffed. I might even just unsolder that thing. Oh, great big capacitor in the way, just to be annoying. Well, at least we know the caps are discharged now. So that's that one there. Now, I doubt this just died on its own. But who knows, this looks like the kind of thing that could go into oscillations or anything. Who knows how well these amps are actually made. Truck's nearly coming off the board there, it's been so hot. Let's see if we can read this transistor what it used to be. It was, it's one of these MPS things. 642 is it? Oh, MPSA 42, that's what it is. I remember those transistors now. Yeah, MPSA 42. And trying to remove what's left of its leads. It's only got one still attached to the body. Certainly let some smoke out of that thing. Ah, where'd that lead go? There it is. But yeah, I don't know why those outputs were measuring a bit weird at first, but once I disconnected the collectors or emitters or whatever's on the case, it came pretty good. So it's got this bit of dodgy Schweppes cola or whatever can attached as a heatsink, or to join them together. It looks like they use just use some contact adhesive or something to stick into the same bit of stuff. So I wonder what the other transistor is there. That's an MPSA 42 as well. Well, look at it. And there's a couple other transistors glued together here. So, what's this? 220 ohm resistor here. Looks like something really burned up on the board there at some stage. So we've got that blue resistor. Oh, yeah, it's the one. Oh no, there's a little one down there. It's like a 4-band. I can't even remember how to read those things. And we've got 1, 2, yeah, it should be 3 resistors. Yeah, one's a 220 by the look of it. Diode. Well, let's beep a few things out here. Where's that 220 ohm still intact? Not the best repair I've ever seen. That's okay. So a circuit would be handy so I know what I'm actually looking at, but it looks like they're like a BC transistor. They got a base in the middle pin. Not sure about these other ones though. I didn't find a base then. Oh, it's an NPN, PNP I mean. No, it doesn't really measure like much at all. Well, one of them's got to be the base. Unless that's some sort of Darlington or something weird, which it could be. Bit hard to tell when the faces of them are stuck together so you can't read the transistor number. Oh, so that's got a base in the middle pin. So that other one could be iffy. Oh, that doesn't sound good. But maybe that's what that one measures. Let's measure the other channel. I forget where the short was, but here I think, yeah, that's, am I touching that link? I'm touching that wire link, I think. Easy trick, bend the lead back too far, yeah, that was all it was. Now which one's the base? Or is it an NPN, PNP, who knows? Yeah, gotta make sure you don't touch on something else while you're measuring it. How does this other transistor measure? Weird, 1.3, 1.2, 0.6. That's measuring very low. 0.6 or 666. Six, 7, 7, and that's got 0.097. It could just be a cap charging, don't know. Let's check these. Oh, that 5 watt. Seems good. Seems good. There's another diode hiding in there. Doesn't seem so good. Where is it hiding there? It's probably that resistor across it, maybe. No, that one measures 0.6 across it, as it should. Yes, it's facing that way. So something around here ain't good. There's another diode down in there too. So maybe we've got output issues on this channel. Again, we're measuring that 0.1 thing, but that was pretty right in the other channel, I think. It's just the caps across the rail or something. As long as they're not getting a dead short. I don't fancy undoing the screws again because they're a real pain to get back in there, because they're only basically screwed about halfway into the thread, which is a really bad idea in a amplifier like this. So that diode, not sure about mounting these caps so close to the board either. It's probably not the smartest idea in case something punches through the insulation and shorts it out. Where was that diode? It's next to the resistor. Not easy to see what's where in this thing. Maybe there, or there. What if that's it? Oh, that goes here. Well, that's connected to that transistor that blew up. So that's definitely sus. But at least the Mosfets look to be alright. That's a very good start. I think I'm disconnected from everything else. Yeah, the pad's okay without there. Then what does that go into? A resistor or something? Oh, we're under that. What on earth is that? A capacitor. Oh yeah, okay. There's a little cap and a diode, and the other thing's not connected to anything. Did that other diode measure short? I think it might have. Not sure what it's actually connected to. I think we did have a short across that second one. And we still do. Question is, it's the middle of the three. I think. Quite a hard board to work out where things are. What is this? There's a lead right through there. That can't be it, surely. Someone soldered a lead right the way through. Get rid of this capacitor. That was mounted to that end. Can I even remember where the other one wanted? Oh, at least I've got another channel to compare it to. So yeah, that was... I think there's nothing on those two pads. That's a little diode. Goes to, yeah, it comes off the speaker output, I think. Well, at least whatever this design is, it didn't self-destruct. May have taken a few bits out, but not the whole lot. That seems to be okay now. That can't be the same part then. Maybe that's the diode. Oh, yeah, I got that the wrong way around. The diode is the edge one, it was the capacitor in the middle. Oops. Oh, I'll clean the solder sucker out at least. Getting harder to see these things in this shiny light. Ah, that's the other diode there. I think that's, yeah, that's good now. So they're in a chain. There's two diodes which come from here. What is the speaker output? Was it? Or was that? No, that's the speaker output there. Oh yeah, but that via the inductor. So they feed off the speaker. So I wonder if we've had DC on this speaker output. Pop that diode, pop the next diode, gone down here, which of course when they've shorted out, blown our transistor up. The other one seems okay, but it's probably best replaced. But then that went through this resistor that's fried. Yeah, which originally went to there is what they've hooked it to. So I'm not sure if that resistor has been replaced by someone and they didn't go any further with it, 220 ohms, or whether that's a previous. So I wonder what failed. Maybe the transistor just failed, maybe DC on the output has gone. Which way are those diodes facing is the real question. Do they face down to the... Yeah, so if there was DC on the output, that would go straight through those diodes and into that transistor. And then the transistor shorts, it would then burn that resistor out. Possibly you could damage the other transistor, but may not. What's this other line go to? It comes across the other end of this cap. And to... I bet it goes to the other transistors, yep. Which I think all measured fine. Though one of them measured differently, didn't it, in that other pair? Where is it? That one there, I think. unfortunately you've got to check pretty much everything. Resistance, that doesn't help. .5, 0.6, it's probably okay. Hang on, that's not the right line anyway, is it? I followed the wrong track. Ah, see, this goes to those other pair, I reckon. The one that measures weird. Yeah, I think we might have popped one of these other transistors, or one of them measured weird. Was it? I think it was the other one though. I followed the wrong line. If they're glued together, I might just pull the pair of them out. I guess before I make any more mess and get carried away, let's solder that cap back in. I think that cap can go, maybe not. I might need to leave that off for now. Leave that one off for now. See if that pair of transistors will come out. Oh, they're coming apart anyway, so I don't need to. Maybe they're just butted together. Let's get that first one out, which is an MPSA 92 again, I think. So that's what they've used in this. I did have some of them at one stage. Don't know if I've probably thrown them out by now, but pretty sure I had some in stock I got from somewhere. That one's measuring okay. Don't know if we can really trust it. Maybe put that one back in the hole it came out of, just so I don't forget. Now, what is this one? Is it another one the same? 92, so they should all measure exactly the same. This one I'm pretty sure had an open junction or something. That measures are right out of circuit, so I think they're measured wrong from memory. I'll put them back together and see what I measure in circuit, because I'm sure that measured different to the other channel around there somewhere. But maybe that's just because that other transistor is out of circuit, or those diodes were shorted, or it could be something like that, I guess. Not impossible. But like I say, in theory you probably should, the more of these you replace the better. I'll have to find out what they're equivalent to. I think they're just equivalent to a BC 558 or something. I think they started using them in kits a bit or something for some reason, but they're Motorola transistors or something. I guess we're going to measure it on the underside here. So that's the base of 1. 0.5, 0.6, 0.5. Yeah, maybe something I pulled out of the circuit already has fixed whatever issue I had. Yeah, that will measure good. 1.9 across. Oh, well, that's the other one. Oh, 0.1. Oh, and charging. That's right, that was charging up on this one, I think. The other one seemed to stay fixed. Does that measure different? Yeah, no, I think they're pretty right. So hopefully it hasn't blown anything else. Hopefully that took the brunt of it down through there. The other one here that's connected there would probably be best to... Is that the same type of transistor? Let's It's an NPN version by the look of it. What was the burnt one I pulled out? That was 92, I think. Except it seems to have vanished. It's probably got flicked off the bench somewhere. Oh, there it is. Ah, 42. Not a 92. What's its mate there? A42, so the 92 must be the PMP. Probably need to squash those transistors together a bit better than I have. The other one's actually glued. No, they're just touching each other. Well, they ain't touching each other very well anymore after I've been at them. See if I can straighten that one up a bit and squeeze them together. That's still not right, really. They're pretty close though. Yes, 2 blown diodes. I checked all the other diodes. That should be it, I think. Yeah, someone's just shoved a great big 1 watt 220 ohm in there. MPSA 42s. I wonder what they... we don't want that one, do we? We want the letter book. LMN. What did I say they were? I've completely forgotten. MPSA. Oh, here we go, MPSs. I wonder if MPSA comes first. Oh, we've got MPSUs. MPSA 42. Silicon video, 300 volts. Are you kidding me? And it's the same with the MPSA 92. So I guess with the voltages in this thing, they're actually like video transistors. BF420s and stuff. Huh, wow. I think that's where I might have even seen it. I'm sure one of these transistors was used in a telephone dialing circuit. Or some similar thing in a telephone. Back onto this amplifier, I've got some MPSA 92s and 42s, I think they were. Not pretty cheap to get off eBay, including post. So I thought I'd just order one of these little packs of 5 and 10 of them. So I've got plenty of them if I need them in the future as well. And I've got to remember exactly what was faulty in this thing now, but I believe the diodes feeding down in these transistors were faulty, and I think I was just going to replace most of the transistors with new ones. And there's that 220 ohm resistor that's been cooked up. Someone's done a bit of a shonky looking job there on the repairs. Oh yeah, we've got these capacitors loose too, so I could actually get to things. Now, what was the transistor that's missing? We've got an MPSA 42 still in there. And I forget if that was a 42 or 92. I really should make more notes on these things, since it tends to be a while in between actually working on them. But we can possibly compare it to the other channel, although I can't really get easily to the other channel because these caps are in the way. But I can soon find out the polarity of the transistor with the multimeter, I guess. And it looks like it's the one. There's an NPN. Yep, 0.6 either way there. I assume the other one's the opposite, is it? Maybe not. I know, maybe they're both the same, those ones. That may well be the case. So also that was joined to there. I think that was one of our shorted diodes. And yeah, then the other diode came through here. That was shorted down to that transistor that was cooked. Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, it'd be nice. I should really remove this transformer off this thing because it makes it damn hard to move around with that great big heavy thing there and the whole chassis wobbling around. But I might pull the heat sink off this, the so-called heat sink, a little bit of Coke can off this other one, and just double check what they are. 42 and 42. That's what I thought. And I can, I don't know where the other heatsink even went, so-called heatsink, but I can change that again. I think there are 42s, so we can unsolder that other one. I might as well chuck both of those away, since they've probably been stressed out a bit. And just hope it doesn't blow them all up again. Yeah, that one's loose. Definitely a 42. Get there, I don't even read these things, they're so small now, and the print is not very good on them. I think that's why they had the silver fronts on the other ones, because you could at least read it. I'll double check these as I get them out of the bag, because you can't trust anyone with anything. So always check your components before you insert them, just make sure someone has actually sent you the right thing. Because if they send you the wrong one of these and you put it in, you'll probably blow them all up again. Which is the last thing you want. I just try and bend the leads to suit the holes, but they don't want to play ball in this one very well. Bend them in situ. How tall do they make those off the board a bit? Because we've got to try and, I guess, bend these together so they can be fitted to a common heatsink again. Almost need a clip lead or something to hold them together, I guess. Well, if I get one end soldered in place, we want the other one to match it, basically. Now we've got them face to face in about the same height, same, so both upright nicely. And this, yeah, we'll just have to bend that pin over on one of these so I can get it to contact the board where the pad has fallen off. It's not going to be the prettiest, this amp, when it's finished, but I'll resolder every one of those connections too, since I've been messing around with it. Do them slow enough that nothing moves. And I guess we can cut those off a little bit, they're a little bit long. Now this capacitor I think went to that pin, yeah. So we'll put that back in place. And I've got to get these diodes out. And I think I was going to change one or two of those other transistors, because I think, yeah, the damage could have got across to this other pair. Where's the lead for that diode? There's a hole there, so that must be it, surely. And yeah, we'll better check these transistors before I touch them. See if we can get these diodes out as well. Where did that go? I was just about to check that and see what sort it was. Where the hell did it go? Just vanished. Is that the other one? One coming across, and one, I think it was that one. Oh, there it is down there, at least I can see it now. I thought that was the other one. That's definitely the one. Or have I unsoldered the wrong thing? Or have I not unsoldered it at all? Maybe Maybe it's just not unsoldered at all. Ah, someone's bent the leads over, I think that's what it is. Why you would do that, I have no idea, but... Gonna crush all my transistors here at this rate. Oh, come on. Because it's jammed right in there. So that's the upper one. Ah, God, I just broke in half, typical. I don't think they're anything special, but I was just going to check if they got any markings. Make sure they're not some sort of xenodiode or something, which I don't think they are, but... Well, that one's a bit hard to read now. Got something on it. Near impossible to read. Just a symbol, I think. Is that National Semiconductor? It almost looks like. That's actually got one N something written on it. That might help. 1N. Huh, good luck reading that. 1N4. Oh, it's a 4148 or something, I guess. 4148. So that's handy. I don't think the other one had anything. Or if it has, it's snapped in half, but hopefully it was the same thing. Can't read anything. I guess, can I see the other one in the other channel? Yeah, it's got a 9. Okay, I might have to investigate that a little bit further, but the other one's a 4148. Now, where the hell have I got those things? So, we know that we can definitely replace the one going crossways, I think. Yep. And the diode went across that way. Where it comes out of the output. Yeah. Of course, they don't want to go on the board easily. Come on. You can do it. I wonder if those other pairs of diodes are the same thing going to the other pair of transistors, possibly. Two different resistors in here as well, so I don't know if it's been replaced at some stage, but possibly. That's not the best pad either, so I might have to bend that one over and solder it on a bit. Another one set. Yeah, I think I'll just bend that down and touch it a bit better. Has to be quite a poor quality circuit board. So where did that come from, that inductor thing there? Do the other diodes... Oh yeah, they're the same kind of circuit on the other side by the look of it. There's another diode. I don't know if I even checked those, but I better do. Ah, it was there and there. It's measuring open circuit. Measures it right on top. Because that diode is backwards, but that's just on this case, or is it in both cases? That's the second diode in the chain on this one, I think. The first one here comes through there. Yeah, no idea. But these are going the opposite way, so I think from the PMP side of things. So if one goes one way, one the other, it still could be a xenodiode, I guess. Just worries me why some of these have a different marking on them, seemingly. And they're in specific places. Whether that means they're a different kind of diode or not. Which I guess I should have checked last time, but anyway. So that's pointing up or away from the transistors, let's put it that way. It's got a 9. C1 9. Yeah, it does kind of look like a potential Zener diode. How do we prove it though? Okay, about the only way I can test this diode, because it's got C19 on it, like C1 and then a 9 in a different spot. There is no such thing as a 19 volt Zener diode, but some of the Zener diodes had like C and then the voltage rating. So C19 would be a 19 volt, but they only make 18 volts anyway. So what I might do is I've hooked up this LED with a resistor, and I've got my power supply, so if I turn up the voltage it'll come on. I'll put a 680 ohm just to limit the current if it does come on, but I've hooked the diode, one of those diodes, a good one, from the other spot in the channel up to that LED in the reverse direction. So if it's a Zener, it should conduct at some voltage, which it does by the look of it. Now there you go. It is definitely a Zener diode by the look of it, because we've got conduction back through it, and that's at around 20 volts. The LED is reasonably bright. I'm not sure how good this LED is. This is someone on eBay sent me some freebies. So 19 volts. It's a bit dimmer. So we've got some sort of Zener diode by the look of it. I guess I could hook it directly to the resistor and just see what voltage we get across it. But that looks like it's definitely some sort of Zener diode. Let's get rid of our LED. Not sure if a 680 ohm, maybe I should go even higher. It's probably enough, but I might go 1K or something. I did have a Zener diode tester. I think it was a little kit designed by Silicon Chip or by Electronics Australia or something that did it. I'm pretty sure I built one, but I must have got rid of it at some stage. I don't think I've got it anywhere anymore. Oh, it doesn't matter which way around it goes, I guess. That'll be the positive end. What I need to do is get my multimeter across that diode. Might just clip lead it on so I can do this quickly. I think 1K should be plenty to prevent any sort of grief coming to the diode, but if you put too much current through them you will kill it. What are we up on? 20 volts. It's about 9 volts, so maybe it is a 9 volt Zener diode, it seems to be. Yep. Well, I don't know, did they make a 9 volt or a 9.1 or something? They did make, I think. Yeah, according to this, a 9.1, so maybe it's 9.1. Bit weird putting the 1 first, C1, unless it's a 9, a C1 is how you're supposed to read it. Not impossible, I guess. It's a 9, yeah, it could be, I guess. It's a big 9, C1, so maybe that's their way of making a 9 volt Zener diode. 9.1 is the third one along here. I'll kick myself if these actually have the same markings on them, but I doubt they will. Because I did check a few of these just to see that has, no, I think it's a BZX or something. God, you can barely read it. Oh no, it's a 9V one it's got on it. Yeah, 9V1 would make more sense. So I think, I'll double check that isn't a V, but I'm pretty sure it's a big C on there. Yeah, 9 and C1. So I think we can say that is definitely a 9V Zener diode. So I'll put one of those in there in place of that other diode. We can put that one back in where it came from. I guess I'm almost tempted to put like a, well, let's just get this thing going. I'm almost tempted to put a like a 1 ohm fusible resistor or something in there, so if these diodes die and short out, it doesn't burn up the whole chain of things, because otherwise it's only got that 220 ohm resistor or whatever to burn up, which is not a very good design. And the transistor and stuff, so I guess someone should have put some sort of protection in here, but I guess I wasn't expecting the thing to fail. Oh. But you can also tell because these diodes are hooked in opposite directions. Usually a sign of a Zener diode is the diode will face into the voltage sort of source the wrong way around, with the cathode in to the positive end. That's what had me a bit sus on what these things were, because these diodes come from like the speaker output and then back through. I think one of them goes forward to that, but the two diodes are basically anode to anode. Yeah, same over here, and I think the other two, when you look at them, are the same as well. Power supply. At least I had one of that Zener diode kit in stock. And yeah, if a diode's conducting backwards, it's got to be a Zener basically. Oh, now this one went right next to that resistor, and the band faces up towards the top, towards the transistor outputs. But yeah, even if you haven't got a Zener diode tester, you can always just test a Zener diode that way by just putting a series resistor in there so not too much current goes through it, especially these little ones. And measure it with your multimeter. And let's see, the band on that one was at the top. Where's the band on the other? Yeah, other diode, so it's band to band. They're anode to anode on one side and cathode to cathode on the other, so that's always a sign that you've probably got a Zener diode in series with your other diode, because two normal diodes aren't going to work back to back like that. Now, hang on, did I solder that one back in? Sure doesn't look like I did. No, I haven't yet. Better remember that, I guess. And then I can change another, I think I'll change another pair of transistors in case they've been damaged, even though they measure good. In amplifiers, it often pays just to, especially small cheap ones, just change the things. Now I've lost the pin, it's actually dropped back up through the board, hasn't it? Yep. Even though if I might bend it across. There it is. Not even sure quite what they're doing here, because it seems to come off the speaker output. That you're going to have a Zener through another diode and into the little driver transistors. Set the other pair of transistors, yep. And because of the way everything's chained together, it's just always a risk that something else will be damaged in some way. And if if you don't replace everything, you may well end up blowing something again. Out you come. There it is. This is an MPSA 92, is it? Yeah, 92 I think. It's the one. Now, one of the ones I had out, 42s I think. Yeah, I really am having trouble reading these things these days. 42s. Let's put them in their little bag. And get a couple of 92s out. That's the old one. Let's put that over with that other one. Again, always check the new parts. Make sure people have actually given you what they say they've given you. What's this other one more transistor in here somewhere? Oh yeah, we've got one more up there. Yeah, I might change it just to be sure. Where is it exactly? Finding on the other side of the board is a whole other thing. There's some resistors and then it's at the end, but oh yeah, that little set of pads there. Wires in the way of it. But I've got plenty of these transistors, so I might as well pull the lot, I think, and play it safe, even though that one I think was out of harm's way anyway. MPSA 92. Now we solder that back on, we solder that back on. We didn't unsolder that one by the look of it. Did I take the fuses out of these? I think I did originally, but did I put them back? It should be quicker to test with the multimeter. No, I have taken them out, I think. Yeah, the two on this channel, I think that one's still in there because it's the 240 volt fuse. Yeah, we have that one there, and I assume those two are still in there. I wonder what I did with them. Probably on the bench here somewhere. What are they rated at? I seem to remember seeing a couple of fuses somewhere. They are... Another bad thing is not putting your fuse ratings 1.5 amp. No, 7.5 amp. 240 volts, that sounds more like it. Come on. I can always pinch them from this side, I guess. I think they were in there intact, I can't even remember now to be honest, but that's a 6.3 amp. So even those aren't consistent, and it would be nice if the person who built this thing actually put the ratings on there so people coming back later know. Oh, there's a couple of fuses over here, I reckon that's the ones. 7.5 amp, well that one's blown, so it did blow one eventually. That was a, like a 5 amp. Okay, so at least we got 140 fuse out of there. I mean, I probably should put some lower rated ones in there anyway. I did order a couple near 6.3, so I think I'll risk put one of those in there. Since I've gone over everything, hopefully nothing will go splat. I guess there's a risk that that Zener diode isn't correct or something, but I think it'll be fine. They seem to be the same in all positions. And I've got this tiny little power cord that came with it, with the old is it like a Canon connector? It is a Canon one, that one. The yeah, Canon 240 volt type connector. on, or oh yeah, I've got a red light on the front, so that's a good sign. First thing I do is check the outputs for any issues. No DC there, and this is a good channel anyway, I think. And I guess we should have DC. I don't know if that earth is earth, it probably is. 80 volts and plus 80 volts. Now check both sizes of the fuse. Haven't blown any fuses. Well, we're probably safe to plug this thing in and actually try it out. I did give one channel a run already, I think, didn't I? Now I've got 6.5mm inputs. I don't know if I've got two 6.5 adapters though. Now the next problem is I don't think we don't have a volume control on this. So we're definitely got to go to the CD output, turn the level right down, and we need to connect to the speakers, or a speaker. Well, nothing went bang so far. There we go. Hook the other channel up. And swap our input over. Pull that out of there. The other one's probably still going too. Yeah. Well, I glued the two little heatsink bits back in there, bits of cola can there between those pairs of transistors, and I just hit the front panel with a hammer a few times, trying to straighten it out a bit. It's a bit bent. It's missing a few of these little captive bits that held the screws in, and I've only been able to find 4 screws that will even fit the threads on this thing. It's got pretty weird threads, but I did manage to find the covers at least. So we'll turn that off and discharge those caps down, and this thing can basically go back together. For now I'll have to get it on the dummy loads and give it a good long run, get it up to temperature and stuff, I guess. But I think this thing's probably good for up around 150 watts a channel, so it's a pretty reasonable amp. But I don't really have a lot of use for it myself. But I thought I'd grab it anyway and have a look. I think it was about $30 or something I paid for it, which isn't too bad, given it's got a heap of Mosfets and a decent transformer in it. Oh, geez, a very decent transformer in it. Weighs a ton. But it's definitely had a bit of road use by the look of it, this thing. I think I'm putting those on the right way. I wonder if this one went on the top, but either way, I'd assume the vent holes are on the top, but this is not looking like it really fits on the bottom, so maybe not. Or is it just bent out of shape a bit? I think the case is a bit out of square, which doesn't help. I think if you bend it straight again, it sort of lines up. But you never know, they might have the vent slots on the bottom, but that'd be pretty unusual. But yeah, I could only find the 4 screws. I don't think it had many screws in it when I got it. And it still doesn't have many. It'd be nice to get a few more in just to try and square this case up, but they have really weird threads on them. Nothing I have fits. And I'm actually assuming those 4 screws I found that did fit are probably out of it originally. Oh, certainly a heavy beast. So I'll give it a good test run and see how it goes, but I think that should be alright. So thanks for watching.